girl.
Hi. You caught me jamming on camera.
Yes, I am here for your backstage jam session, honey. Hey, y'all, and welcome to another episode of In the Divas Den. We are so glad to have you guys here with us tonight because we have a lot to talk about. But before we get into any of that, I need y'all to go ahead and hit that like. I need you to go ahead and hit that share button because it will cost you absolutely nothing. So go ahead, click like and share. Appreciate you. Love you, sweetums. But tonight, we are going to talk about a lot. Of course, we're going to talk about the case and the trial of Derek Chauvin and everything that's happening with that. We're going to talk about California. Essentially, they want to reopen and act as if COVID does not exist. We're going to talk about the Verzuz battle that happened on Easter Sunday that has sent social media in a tizzy. And we're also going to talk about Tiny and T.I. They're finally speaking out, DMX, all of that and more. But before we get into any of that, Precious girl, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling well rested, melanated, luxurious. Yes. Y'all just came back from traveling. We'll talk about that some more later. But if you have the chance to do so safely. Even if you are vaccinated, you still need a mask. Okay, don't be out there caught in these streets, just out here breathing the air freely. Can't afford to do that these days. But don't also be too afraid to venture out of your house. When you need to, do so. But yeah, I'm feeling great, and I'm glad I was able to take that time. How are you?
I'm doing good, girl. I am doing good. I'm not as refreshed as you because my vacation isn't until July, but that is okay. I am living vicariously through you. But I am good. This pollen is kicking my ass. Something oh so serious. For those of our viewers who are not from the area, when I tell you that the pollen in North Carolina is something so serious, it's not even funny. I did not have allergies until I moved down here.
Yeah.
And my head feels like it's about this big right now, but it's all good. It's all good. We still breathe.
It's my throat.
Right, girl. It just catch you like right in mid-sentence.
It's like it's not COVID. It's the pollen.
Right. So we're going to be all right. We're going to get through this. And I think this is the one time when I can actually say thank God for a mask because it's not just smacking you in the face. Yes. But girl, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And for our viewers out there, let us know how you doing. Check in with us. Say hello. Let us know how you doing. Weigh in on the topics, on the conversation. Because, baby, like I said, we got a lot to talk about tonight. And we want to
shout out to Vince Clark, who commented, "Happy birthday to you, sir."
Happy birthday, Papa Vince. Yeah. I know. So, with that being said, you know what? Let's go ahead and get into our headlines, y'all. So first things first. Of course, we have to talk about it. Because it's all that's in the news right now. It is one of the biggest headlines that is out there, but it's the continuation of the Derek Chauvin trial. I think before we even get into that, essentially today, what we found out was that we had a specialist come in and he essentially said that it was excessive force, pretty much what we all knew. There really was no question of it, but I think that they just needed the validation. They needed someone to actually come on there to do it. And it was a specialist, a sergeant, I believe, from LA who came in. This was the second day on trial, just to confirm that he was in the wrong. This was excessive force. This is something that they're not taught. And also if and when George Floyd was on the ground, handcuffed, there was no reason for them to continue to keep his neck on George Floyd's, keep his knee on George Floyd's neck, so now we're at a state where, I mean, is it the audacity? I think it's the audacity for me, because you essentially went and wanted to have this trial thinking that possibly you could get off or have a, slap on the wrist, but it just seems for the defense, they're just getting hit every single way, left and right, and it's just not working in their favor. But Precious, let me know what you think, girl.
It's about the third time now that somebody said that it was excessive force that has the credentials to say so, besides all of us with common sense. So I don't understand why they keep asking and trying to verify it when it's just there. My favorite was dude who was watching and they asked him, did you call him an F and this and F and that? And he's like, did I say that? Did you hear me say that? Well, if you heard me say it, then I said it. And I was like, yes, keep that energy, because don't act stupid or try to play me to be the angry black man to use it for your gain. We're not going to do that. I love the fact that every person that's getting up there is stating the facts of what happened and saying the truth and saying, you know what, I'm not afraid of what happens to me because I need to say that this was wrong. Even the doctor that saw him afterwards, he confirmed, he said he was already gone and they did not do anything to try to resuscitate or to help him at all. And I said, if that isn't some damning evidence right there, why do we keep asking the same questions when we know what the outcome is? We all saw it. And this is just confirming what we already knew.
Exactly. 100%. And that's why I think it angers me, because not only did you want to move forward with this trial, but then you also aren't showing any remorse whatsoever. And if you guys are watching the trial, if you're seeing any clips when they do show him on camera, it's just like, he just seems so, nonchalant, like it's no big deal, as if, he doesn't think that he did anything wrong. And I mean, we can all see in the video when they essentially did a close-up on his face and how he just stared right into the crowd and continued to put his knee on George Floyd's neck, how it didn't even faze him. But I think what's funny to me is that the defense keeps trying to make it seem like it was the audience's fault now, that the spectators that were there were just so out of control. They were just so angry. They were just so unruly. And that was the reason for why he couldn't get his knee off of George Floyd's neck, because there was nothing else that he could do. They felt as though he was going to be attacked. And the crazy thing is, the only reason why the people were there was because you had your knee on his neck.
Exactly.
If you would have taken your knee off, there wouldn't be this outrage. And then not to mention that people were filming, they were recording, they hadn't even come that close to him. It was your partner that felt the need to agitate the situation even more, But if we as everyday people can see this and we can put two and two together, it's just like, as a defense attorney, I'd be mad as hell. I'd be like, what you want me to do?
And it's like, dude, you are the law. You are literally law enforcement is your job title. That's what you do. You police the area and the people. So why are you afraid of people standing there, including a 9-year-old, saying, no, 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 no? Exactly. Why can't you handle it? That's your job.
Exactly. 100%. And what I also loved was the fact that 8 former and current police officers kindly said that Derek was using excessive force and that they don't agree with what it is that he did. And to see that blue Lives Matter, that blue, wall just come down, I'm like, finally, finally, you guys are showing that you have heart, that you're humane, and that you understand that you have to stand up and say something. Like you have to let people know this isn't right. We can't do this because we weren't taught this. This isn't something that we're supposed to be doing. So to see them actually come out and have the balls to say, yeah, no, that was wrong. He shouldn't have done that, blah, 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 blah. I felt good in that instance, but I still am nervous because we don't know. This essentially is at the hands of the jury. And at any moment, they can get into that room and essentially think of something or think of something other for why his actions were justified. I just hope that they're just keeping it to the fact of this was excessive force, this was unnecessary, and it should not have happened. We're not going to talk about, the bystanders. We're not going to talk about the fact that he was essentially saying that he couldn't, he was claustrophobic prior to. We're not going to talk about the fact that he was under the influence, allegedly. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the counterfeit $20. We're going to talk about what happened in that moment right there that is on video that we've all seen, where a man was murdered, period.
That's it.
So I don't want to talk about this ad nauseum because that the outlets are covering all of this and it is exhausting. As we said last week, take a break from it because this really will stir up a lot of those feelings from when we initially saw the video, and it's tough. So let's go ahead and move into our next topic, which I'm pretty sure everybody's tired of hearing about this too, but we got to talk about it. California. They have every plan and every say so to just essentially say, we want to open in June. Have at it. We're going to go back to the way things were. How do you feel about that, Precious?
Okay. I did not reveal where I have been. If you see my posts on Instagrams, I said I was somewhere in the world, but I actually was in Puerto Rico during the past week. and it was wonderful, but it was also safe. I will say this, having to have the negative test to get there and to prove it, and then having to have the mask and whatnot and everything that's needed. They actually had just put in a mandate to say that you are in public, you have to always have your mask on. If you don't, you will get fined $100. And when I tell you they were serious about it, the police pulling people up, ma'am, put your mask on. They were calling people out. Now, unless California, and they were texting people to track you while you were on the island to make sure that you weren't experiencing any symptoms and all of that good stuff. Now, even with that, there are flaws. The simple fact that I'm still getting texts and I'm not there anymore. But that's not the point. The point of the matter is that they had a grip on it, right? But you're talking about a small island in the grand scheme of things. California is massive.
Yes.
So to open up the entire state and to just go free willy with everything, I am not confident that they'll be able to keep this under control.
And I 100% agree. And I agree because even though people are essentially saying, oh, well, people are getting vaccinated and, people are following restrictions, we all know people are not, because the cases are still going up. The numbers are still going up, and they're going up because people aren't following the guidelines that were given to us from the CDC originally, and I actually went out with a couple of my friends a couple weeks ago, and I sat and watched, and in one area, I probably saw maybe 3 masks, and I was one of the people, and it's just like, we don't know if these people are vaccinated, because that's a whole other, topic too, where essentially people are faking vaccination cards,
Look, people said they're going to identify as vaccinated. First of all, that's rude. Second of all, no.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. But you have people who are out here faking vaccination cards. And then I just read NPR is reporting that 1 in 4 Americans are actually refusing to take the vaccination. So when you put all of that together, it's just like, I don't understand how you think California can open up and go back to the way things were, because it's not going to be normal. We now have to adjust to the new normal.
And then you have people, I actually know someone who is allergic to the vaccine. So until they make a strand that she can actually take, she can't get the vaccine.
Exactly.
So what about those people?
Exactly.
What about those people who have other conditions that are preventing them from getting the, think harder, right? I gotta say it every show, think harder, because we cannot go back to normal. This is the new normal. This is it. Masks. People in Asian countries have been wearing masks for decades, and it's been because they have been in courtesy of other people. If I'm sick, I'm gonna wear a mask so you don't get sick.
Exactly.
We don't have people like that here. We have people here that's like, fend for yourself, okay? I'm good. I'm gonna stay over here. That's not my business. No, it needs to be your business, because it's all of us in this together.
Exactly. And then the thing is, you have the people who essentially, everyone has their right. If you don't want to take the vaccine, 100%, that is your right. But then if you're not going to take the vaccine, you have to make sure that you are still keeping social distancing. You're still wearing your mask. You're not gathering in crowds. There are still rules that you have to abide by. But you have the people out here who not only are refusing the vaccine, but they don't believe that COVID is real, even though it has affected almost every single person in America. They're going to live life the way that they want to, because it hasn't affected them just yet, or they don't care. They're not taking it seriously because they're like, oh, well, if I get COVID, it's no big deal. I'll just get over it. That's not the case for everybody.
No, it's not.
And even with California, just being positive and wanting to believe that they're going to say, oh, well, yes, we're going to open up at 100%. It's still based on a large population of people getting vaccinated, and the fact that most of their hospital beds will not be occupied. That's a lot to try to consider before June, and we're in April. This is really fast, really, really fast. And I also read, I think it was, once again, NPR, where one of the scientists, I think it was some university, I think Northwest University or something like that, essentially said for us to go back to normal, 85% of America would need to be vaccinated.
Child, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. The simple fact that they are regulating what kind of vaccine you get based on your region and or your profession, I already see it going, there's some Hunger Games stuff going on right now. Okay, y'all pay attention. Pay attention.
Which also brings us to the topic of travel. Because we have some people in the comments who said, look, I'm not going to California anytime soon, which sucks because California is on my list. I would love to visit, love to see, a few things there, especially wine. Hey. But a lot of people are in an uproar because they feel as though a vaccination should not be required for travel. Now, Dr. Fauci did come out and say that it's not required for travel. However, you will not have to go through the process of getting a negative COVID test 72 hours beforehand and vice versa coming back into the United States. Essentially, you will have to, essentially get rid of all of that, bypass all of that. You'll be able to just go. But some people are upset because they're like, well, we feel like it's going to essentially be mandated. And I want to travel. I want to live my best life and do all the things, hot girl summer, hot boy summer, whatever. But I don't want to get vaccinated. So, Precious, and to our viewers as well, do you feel it should be mandated?
Okay, two things. First, there's some people you can tell who have not been anywhere, because there are several places where you have to get some kind of booster shot or vaccination in order to get there. So this is not new. This is just new for us here in the quote unquote with the first world problems. That's what this is. This and masks and all of that, those are first world problems, because everyone else all over the entire world has been living like this forever and a day. Now, they got to do it even to come here. So that's welcome to the rest of the world. Now, as far as I don't agree with the fact of not getting that negative test. I know just recently having to get it 72 hours before, the angst of just waiting to get that result, because you are at the mercy of the lab. And if they get it back to you on time, that may mess up your flight. But I think even with the vaccination, you should still do that, because that does not make you invincible. You could still be riding around carrying this junk. And I spoke to some people that I know that have finished their vaccinations, the second thing. And they were telling them it only lasts for 6 months. You can be around open people so what happens after 6 months? Do you get a booster? Right. Do you get another one? Now, I'm not saying not to get the vaccine, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, what happens next? Like, you still have to be cautious. You can't just throw it all to the wind and just say, this is my passport to freedom. And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen with these words that are coming from these people in high places. People are like, oh, it's no big deal. I'm already vaccinated. I got a proof on my passport. I got the little chip in me now, because I feel like that's coming next. So,
yes, come on, conspiracy theory.
I'm just saying, how they gonna track all the people that need boosters? Oh, we put a chip in you, and then we know when you need. Okay, let me shut up.
Now, I'll be honest. I went ahead and got my first round of vaccination, and I solely did it, number one, because I want to essentially be around my mother. Again, and not have to worry about if I'm going to bring COVID in her household. Right. And then for myself. And then also I was like, I want to get out of here. Like, I want to travel, and if I can do so without having to put anyone else in danger or myself, then I will do it. And one of the reasons why I essentially broke down, because you guys know, if you watched our past episode, I was adamant. I was like, I'm not getting this vaccine. I'm not getting this vaccine. I'm not getting this vaccine. But I switched up on you. Switched up. Plot twist, And the reason why I was just like, you know what? How many vaccinations have been injected in us? We don't know what the long-term effects are, but we didn't know what the long-term effects were for any of the other vaccines that we have taken. And then on top of that, I'm just like, that I'm giving too much credit, and I'm about to get, spiritual on you guys. I'm giving too much credit to a vaccine and not to him, because he is in control of my destiny and not this vaccine. Ooh, girl. You see, girl, got that on you. I got that on you. So that's why I was like, you know what? It is what it is. If I end up growing another foot, y'all, I'm sorry, but at least I'm growing that foot, and I'm in Ghana or I'm in Colombia. So, hey.
Yeah. Hey. And it's funny because we both check off boxes. I am someone who has other conditions, and then my doctor is seriously weighing the odds of what I can take, when I can take it. So it's like everybody has their thing, and you have to do your due diligence to understand what is best for you, what you should do, and when you should do it. But at the same time, if you decide that this is not what you want to do, you need to do all the things that you have to do, keep yourself safe and everybody else.
That part. Can you? And as my good friend Monte would say, don't be a dick. You know, don't be that person that's like, I'm not going to get the vaccine, but I'm also not going to get tested. And I'm not going to wear a mask, and I'm not going to stand 6 feet away from you. Because that is, girl, before we get into our commercial break, that is one thing that has been irritating me this whole entire pandemic. If y'all don't back up off of me 6 feet, 6 feet. Okay, keep that same energy, even if we all were to get vaccinated and it was mandated. I need you to still keep that same energy. Back up, please. Thank you. Thank you. All right, now, y'all, we are going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, child, we are going to talk about that Verzuz battle. I want to hear what y'all got to say about it. Everybody wants them a sugar daddy now. Ron Isley has now become Zaddy. We're going to talk about all that when we get back. Let's go ahead and take our commercial break.
Welcome to First and Goal 365. The #1 spot for player development, both on and off the field. I'm your host, Coach Block. Thursday's guest from Penn State University, Coach Terry Smith, Associate Head Coach. Coach Smith and I will be discussing what it takes to be a D1 player on and off the field, college recruitment, and NFL combine preparation on the First and Goal podcast. Thursday, 6 p.m.
Hey, y'all, we're back. Make sure y'all go and support the homie, my brother, with the First and Goal podcast. He's really trying to do some things out there. If you guys even know any high school football players who just need a little tweak when it comes to their game, who need some expertise, who need some guidance, send them his way, because he will be sure to do that. As you guys know, he has led Enlow to victory. That's not the case now. But this man has a very extensive resume. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. So if you are interested, if you know a kid that is interested, who is just really trying to get themselves better, get their game better, just go ahead and follow that First and Goal podcast. Look up Kim Blocker on Facebook and make it do what it do. Now let's get into what's trending. Hey now, hey. Girl, I gotta come up with a jingle. We're gonna work. We're gonna get our harmony. What's trending? Something like that. What's trending? We're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on that. So let's go ahead and talk about this Verzuz battle, baby, honey.
I want to know what you thought about all of this.
Okay. Yes. So, first things first. If you guys, y'all should have heard about it by now. Like at this point, I don't even need to say if you heard about it. Where have you been if you have not heard that Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Isley brothers was going to battle on Easter Sunday? Like everybody, come on, this was epic. I was 100% here for this, mainly because I'm a huge fan of Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm a huge fan of the Isley brothers. And anybody who knows, the Isley brothers music has been sampled ad nauseum. I think them and the DeBarges have probably the most sampled work out there. But it was nice to see legends on the stage together while we can still see them, while we can still give them their flowers, and them just essentially do what they do, which is play their music, sing along, and just perform and, you know, entertain us. It was a good way to end Easter Sunday. Now, let me tell you something. I love me some Earth, Wind, and Fire, but some of them notes wasn't right there.
That's
And shout out to D Nice, because he knew he was not going to play Philip's Life, because when they started playing Reasons, I was like, oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, because he ain't got that. You ain't got that note. So he went ahead and said, reason. Went ahead and echoed it out. Just go ahead and echo it out. But what also got me was the fact that Steve Harvey wanted to be essentially water. You are not a part of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
No.
You are not one of the elements. You are not a part of the Isley brothers. This is not about you. And I need you to shut up, because we did not come on here to hear you talk about your life and where you were when this song was played. We didn't hear that. All we asked you to do was to host it, which he actually volunteered himself. You host it, but I need you to step away. We didn't see Tyler Perry when he hosted it, did we? No.
Nope, not at all.
Come on back.
And it was biased though. I felt bad for I'm like, you got the Isleys right here, but all you talking about is Earth, Wind, and Fire. And it shows every time the music come on, that's all you care about. That's rude. And then he tried to come for the young people. And Ron Isley was like, we're not going to do that. I appreciate him for that.
We're not going to do that because it was a lot of young people. And that's one thing, too, that, we'll touch on. A lot of young people were tuning in, But I think that there were some people who were ready to battle with this whole, oh, y'all know nothing about this. Y'all know nothing about this. But there was nothing to battle because everyone was just appreciating the fact that it was good music. Right. And it was dope to see them on stage together. So for you to try to take shots when there really was no reason to take the shot, it's like,
right. Really? When I turned it on, because I turned it on, I think it was hour 2. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes at that time when I turned it on. And I saw him. I said, is it Ron? That's not Angela Wimbush Ron. Who's Ron is that? Is that BB Winans? That is Ron Isley. I think they got that Gucci jail makeover. I don't know what it's.
Let me tell you something. Ron could have had these plus size panties. That beard and that swag. My man, I said, look here. Now, when we say we want a sugar daddy, when we say we want a silver fox, we want somebody that looks not Uncle Creepy, okay? But this man right here, because this man looks like not only are all his bills paid, but he is debt-free, that he has a good credit score, that he knows how to cook, that he will rub your feet and run you a bath. That's the type of man we talking about who looks like he smells expensive, not Uncle Creepy, who is struggling and on welfare and has 15 million kids and grandkids that he don't take care of and has a nappy beard that's patchy. That's not who we talking about when we say we want a sugar daddy, okay? This man right here, that's it. That's it. We see you, Ron.
I've always, what's his name, Verdine? What's his name? Okay, so ever since I was little, I was like, Mama, who that? Why the hair going like this? Every time. I was like, what happened? He had this look on his face the whole time. I said, are you okay? Is it painful? I don't know.
Yes. Verdine, I'm here for Verdine and his rap, but it might be time to let it go, baby. It might be time to go ahead and let that go.
It was a clip, right? Yeah.
Same thing with Philip. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and let them dreads go. Because they look like they've been through every single element. But all in all, I mean, I just got to say I enjoyed it. I really loved it. I look forward to more verses like this because a lot of the other verses, like, I wasn't really pressed to watch. Definitely, like, I wasn't here for the Gucci and Jeezy thing because that wasn't really my thing. That's not really my type of music, Keisha Cole and Ashanti kind of messed it up because Keisha Cole was mad late. So it was like, I really was kind of over that from the beginning. Monica and Brandy did too much talking for me, and it's just like this one right here, production wise, sound quality wise, flow, it was really good.
Well, they did sell it to Triller for a couple, was $1 billion? So I think that has something to do with what was going on there. So now I think we'll get another level of. And I do appreciate them not only paying them, they are paying or giving something to all the artists who have participated.
Dope.
That's awesome. That's doing something for the music industry itself. So that's dope. They didn't just take a check and run. Exactly. D-Nice, Fadia from Instagram, like all these people who had something to do with the original will get paid too. So that's cool.
Dope. Yeah. I'm glad to hear about that. Yeah. And if you guys have been paying attention also, it has prompted the discussion of Ron Isley and his wife. If you guys have not heard, she's about 30 plus years younger than him. And a lot of people were just essentially like, oh, this is wrong. Why are they together?
Where was everybody when this happened? Because she was singing the Wop Pop Pop for him, and then all of a sudden they got married about 17 years ago? Where was y'all when they got a 14-year-old? Like, where were y'all? Where were y'all before? Why do you care now?
Why are you mad now?
She's 44. It don't matter now. She grown. Why
you mad? And I'm like, I'm seeing a lot of the hatred come from men. And I'm like, you mad because you balding? Is that what it is? No. Because your beard don't connect? Is that what it is? Because you got, All this, is that what it is? Is that what it is? Don't hate on Ron. Let us live our fantasy for a little bit, just for a little bit. The man looks good, and I'm proud of him.
I'm pretty sure she has something to do with it, because I'm telling you, if y'all didn't know this before, Ron was married to Angela Winbush from Renee and Angela back in the day. If you look at Ron when he was with her, you look at Ron when he was his new wife. It was different eras, different styles, different feels, and this is the new, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it. And then can we also give Ernie his flowers?
Yes, Ernie. Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you please just not come on stage and just kill us like that? Like, my nigga's
always
played.
Consistent, always. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you did the whole mouth action behind the back, like that right there. That right there was probably one of the biggest highlights. I'm like, this right here is amazing to watch. Girl, I was just here for it. I was here for it.
Wait, did you see when Ron tried to sneak the R. Kelly in there? I said, Ron, don't you do it. Don't you do that. They're going to cut it off.
That was such a cringeworthy moment. I was like, oh, yikes. Wrap it up. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that, But, I mean, hey, he got away with it, and that's all I'm going to say. I ain't going to say no more on the topic because that's going to be a whole other discussion, and we ain't got time for that because you know why? We got to get to Paul Pierce. I don't know if y'all heard about this dude down here, but he was wilding on Instagram, and ESPN was not happy about it at all. Essentially, he had a little shindig at his house that included, some strippers, and, he was drinking and smoking weed, where I think it was in California. So the weed wasn't the problem. I think it was more so the strippers that was the issue. And then decided to go on Instagram, or I think Facebook Live, one of the two, and showcase the fact that this was happening in his home. And after shortly, all of this had hit the, Instagram or Facebook or whatever it was, ESPN decided to part ways with him, which sparked the conversation of, was ESPN essentially being too hard, or were they justified in just telling him, look, we're done? What do you think, Precious?
If you're representing a brand, and you're a face of a brand, you got to go by what the brand says. Whether you like it or not, you signed a contract, you saw the bylaws. You can't do that. Why you ain't got no burner Instagram? All the celebrities got their own person. Even little K-poppers, they got their own personal Instagram where they do that stuff where nobody else knows unless they friend you. So why you got to do this for everybody to see? Were you drunk, sir? Did you drunk post? I understand, because I drunk posted too. However, it wasn't nothing crazy. It was just a picture I ain't like. You know what I'm saying? So just...
I drunk posted, girl. Right. And that's the thing that kind of bothered me. I'm like, do whatever it is that you want to do in your household, because nobody can control that. But the moment you put that on social media is when it becomes an issue, because we all know that ESPN is owned by Disney, and Disney is like prim and proper, clean cut. They don't want any sort of scandals or anything like that associated with their brand. So for you to know that, and maybe you didn't, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure when you signed that contract, you saw Disney's name on there somewhere, for you to know that, and then think that you're so invincible to be like, well, I'm gonna go on Instagram and I'm gonna just do whatever. Number one, you're too old for that.
Yes.
You're entirely too old for that. I expect that from like a younger kid who is just, having fun or whatever. Sir, you're 110 years old. There is no reason for why you need to do this type of carrying on and then document it. Have your fun in the privacy of your own home and do whatever it is that you want to do, So do I think that they were justified? More than likely. I do, because I'm pretty sure there was some sort of clause in your contract that said, like you said, this is our brand. You can't do this. Like you said, off air, essentially perform a tip drill video, like
basically
you cannot do that. You can't do that, and if you want to do whatever it is that you want to do, or if you want to document strippers or whatever have you on your time, then you can't be associated with this brand.
Right. And everybody talking about he got all this money, he don't need them. Okay, well, build your own ESPN. And then you can do all that all you want to. That's the case.
Hello.
But don't be out here trying to get all mad because, he don't need them. It's not that serious. No, it is that serious. We can tell some of y'all ain't never signed no contracts before because you don't be knowing. Okay?
Exactly. You can't conduct yourself any type of way when you are in association with a specific company, and a lot of us should know that, but like you said, if you haven't worked in corporate or if you haven't worked with a certain company who is strict about that, you won't. But that was really stupid on his part. Disappointed in him. I did hear that he might possibly be picked up by another network. I can't remember what the network is called, but they have picked up a few other athletes as well, which may have prompted why he went on social media and said that he's still smiling, screw the haters. He's still in a good mood, whatever. But I'm like,
I mean, at the same time, you got some players and people out there that did way worse than this that's still in their prime on TV. But we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to let that go.
Girl, all I can say is Ben Roethlisberger, but he's the highest paid quarterback.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that. Let's, when we're talking about allegations, this fits just perfectly with our next topic. T.I. and Tiny.
Oh.
You want to take this one, girl? Because I can see the spirit.
So the fact that this has been under wraps for months now, nobody said anything, but now all of a sudden new allegations are coming out to confirm the other 30 that already exist. And now the lawyer is trying to clap back and say that this has no grounds, this is baseless, all this other stuff. Yeah, and saying that because it's anonymous, it's not credible, it's not possible that it could be T.I. and Tiny. We don't believe you, you need more people. Get out of here with that, okay? There's where there's smoke, there is fire, okay? And there is a lot of smoke that's been coming out for the past, 3 months now?
Yes.
So I need them to figure out what's going on. And then all of a sudden, within there, they're saying there's basis for a settlement. So if there's a need to do a settlement, that means something happened that should not have happened.
Exactly.
Somebody knows something. Okay.
And exactly. And I think what bothered me about the attorney statement, or even just, T.I. and Tiny statement, because essentially it had to come from somebody. You had to agree to the statement, was the fact that you almost wanted to bully people into, giving their identity. And we all know how this works. As soon as a person comes to the light, they are ridiculed mercilessly. We're automatically looking up who they are. We're digging up their background. We're seeing who they're associated with. We're seeing what they look like. And then we're going to go from there. Oh, there's no way they could do that because she looks like this. Oh, there's no way that they can do that. Oh, I've seen her drink a beer before. So of course, she was down for this. Oh, she may have 2 baby daddies. So yeah, she was down for it. Like we know how this goes. And when it comes to women, it's always something other than that person's fault. It's our fault, especially Black women. So I don't blame them for not wanting to, essentially identify who they are. And if this was something that, essentially, if I was in that position, I probably wouldn't identify myself either, because, the media and people are going to tear you apart.
And I blame society on that, especially when it comes to Black women, because Black women, our bodies are over sexualized since puberty. I can remember getting looks from people who should not have been looking at me like that. And I'm like, why? This is just weird. Stop this. And it's like, when will we stop and just realize that we are just people with bodies? Like, we have parts that stick out a little bit more than some other parts, but that does not make us inherently sexual. Like, we are sexual beings by nature, but it doesn't make us just sexy all the time.
Exactly.
And when you do something sexy, then all of a sudden it turns pornographic, because now they're thinking it's beyond what actual just real sexy is. And it's not classy, it's just nasty. And it's like, this is a perception that society has put on our culture and some other ones that look like us as well. And because of that, it's like, oh, she wants it all the time. There is no way for her to say no. And as much as who's the one that was with Wiz Khalifa that had the child?
Amber Rose.
Yes, as much as people talk about Amber Rose and slut shaming and all this stuff, she said it best. She said, if I'm laying in the bed, I have my clothes off, and you are about to do what you got to do, and I say no, that means you need to stop.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it. But for whatever reason, all of this just makes people think it's an invitation to whatever they want to do.
Exactly. And especially when you're a celebrity, it's almost like, oh, well, because I am who I am, how dare you turn me down, or how dare you not want to essentially do what it is that we want you to do? Like, come on. Let's not act like we haven't seen this narrative before. And like you said, obviously they're hiding something. And I do think it's odd that, 30 plus women have the same story, and that they were quiet for so long, because it took a long time for y'all to come out and say something, a long time. And I'm also interested to see if Tiny will actually be at the Verzuz battle, because we know that SWV and Escape are battling. So I'm interested to see, because they've already halted production for their show, and she's been quiet. She's definitely been quiet on social media, because she always used to be in the shade room all the time, honey. But I wonder if she's going to be there.
It's a toss-up, because if she shows up, then it's like some people could take it as her not caring. Some people just take it as her, going on with her job. And if she doesn't show up, it could show sense of guilt. So we shall see.
Yeah, and Escape is going to get demolished anyway, because ain't nobody here for them. At least I'm not.
How you going to put SWV and Escape? Like, no.
Y'all got like 5 songs. Like, what?
You know who they should do? John B. and Donald Jones. Do that. Go ahead and do that. That's what they should do.
I'm not going to entertain that. We're going to go to the... Ooh, I don't like it. We're going to
It's going to be 30 minutes to do it.
Thank you. We're going to go into the next topic. Unfortunately, man, this story hurts my heart. If you guys haven't heard, DMX is in critical condition right now. And the information that we're getting is just all over the place. At one point they said that, he was brain dead. At one point they said that he had COVID. Now they're retracting that statement and saying that he doesn't have COVID. Then they were saying that he was I think his attorney came out and said that he was doing fine. Everything's good. He's responding. Then come to find out that wasn't the case. So with that being said, we're just going to go ahead and just pray for him, because that's tough. He does have a family, regardless of what happened in his background, and a lot of fans. The fact that fans from all over are coming together to essentially hold a vigil outside of the hospital to pull for him, it's definitely showing how much he has touched people. I mean, he's big in hip hop. He is, people love DMX, but I think as of right now, he's still in critical condition. They're still not sure of any brain function. I believe that the testing was today, so there should be some results tomorrow or possibly Friday. But this is also prompted Funkmaster Flex. He is coming out of the woodwork, after healing from his lipo, and trying to come at people's necks and essentially say that the music industry has not done enough for DMX, that, everybody wants to glorify a person once they're sick or once they're dead, but nobody wants to do anything while in the process, because I guess he saw that a lot of celebrities were essentially showing photos of themselves with DMX and paying homage to him, and that is what prompted him to speak out. So, does he have a point?
First of all, why do you mention his lipo? Because I was like, who is that? What?
Being messy.
Do it. That's fine. I agree that, at least I hope that the same people that are posting outwardly are contacting him, or were contacting him and were, supporting him. Let's not act like, first of all, Earl. His name is Earl. He is a good man. Regardless of all the and all of that and all the drugs and everything, he is a good man, and he has had a very hard life, and he has struggled and tried to do the right thing for so long now. If you all don't know the story, how he first got hooked to the drugs, he had weed that was laced with it when he was 14 for somebody that he trusted, and that's how it started this journey, and he's been battling it ever since. Yes, you do fall into the trap of being a artist, and it's around you, and they're giving it to you, and they're feeding you with it, but he has struggled and come out of it a few times. And he is a man of God as well. If you don't know anything about DMX, that's one thing you should know. But people say you can't be in that world. But anyway, regardless, we was down there blasting his music and praying for him, because I was always rooting for him, because I just felt so bad for everything that he's gone through. and just want him to have a good life.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, then this happens and it's like, it's unfortunate and it's sad, but at the same time, you're still hoping he pulls through and that he pulls through successfully and full healing. But at the same time, it's that in the back of your mind, you're not sure if that's what's going to happen, or if his full healing means that he may not no longer be here. So just prayers with him, prayers to his family, because this is a family man. He got kids, got fiance, ex-wife, everybody that's around him. But at the same time, all y'all out there posting all these posts, if you know him for real, you better act like you know him for real.
Exactly. You know, and I think anyone who knows someone, first of all, anyone who has battled with addiction knows how tough it is. Anyone who knows someone who has battled with addiction knows how tough it is. You will have your ups, you will have your downs, you will have your relapses, because there's going to be that one trigger that's going to draw someone to go back, or yourself to go back. And we can even talk about just sugar, you know, that's an addiction.
It is an addiction.
So it's tough to say, oh, well, y'all should have done, especially when you're dealing with someone who is an addict, because you can probably do everything that you can. You can pour and pour and pour and pour and pour and pour. But at the end of the day, that person has to also want to help themselves. You know, they have to want to be better and get tired of their own, you know, crap, essentially, and be like, you know what, I gotta get through this. Now, while somebody is going through that journey of rehab, should you be there for them? 100%. But also what we realize too with addicts is that sometimes they can lash out. They're not saying that DMX is doing this, but I'm just saying from another perspective, but they can lash out, they can get mean, they can say hurtful things, which essentially will cause people to be like, well, you know what, I'm done. You figure this out, because I don't have to, you know, deal with this. I don't have to tolerate this, which is, and a person is right. But for Funk Flex, for you to essentially go on your soapbox and start, you know, verbally coming at people like, oh, y'all need to do, y'all should have done. Okay, well, DMX is here now. He's still here. So how about you, instead of being that person that wants to hold the, bullhorn or whatever, how about you take the initiative to be like, reach out to his family and say, what can I do for y'all in this moment?
Exactly. Spend his music so he can get some money, some revenues. How about you spend his music?
That part, you know, but start a movement, come at it in a positive light and be like, all right, y'all, we got to support our man D. You know, he's having issues. We got to do something. So team up with my man. First of all, if y'all take my idea, I'm gonna know it, but team up with your man D Nice. You know, he's hot, he's popular right now. And let's figure out a way to try to get this man's spirits up, or his family spirits up, or let's figure out some way to help and to give back. We don't need to chastise. Okay. We don't need that,
right?
Because we're already, and the people have their own battles that they have to deal with, you know. So how about you and your lipo? Because now that you got a new body, you all mouth right now. You all mouth with your new body. How about you take a seat and just be like, you know what? Let me see what I can do. How can I help? You know. So definitely prayers to DMX. You know, because that's it's going to be a sad day if something were to happen. But we're going to hold out hope that he pulls through, because this is a tough situation. It really is tough. And let's get to our last story, because we are almost at the top of the hour. But this right here was good to me. I don't know if you guys heard about this. First of all, Jimmy Fallon always stay in some bull. Like, there's always something going on with you. But essentially, he invited some TikToker who has like over 70 million followers. And I'm like, you don't even have some celebrities that have 70 million followers, but you have 70 million followers. He invited her onto the show to teach him some of the popular TikTok dances. Well, after he did that, social media went crazy. And I will tell you why they went crazy. Because instead of inviting the people, the young kids who created these dances on TikTok that went viral, you instead decided to invite this chick to teach you the dances. So I think I don't think we have any audio to it, but you can actually see, like, this is the girl. Her name is Addison J, I believe, or something like that. She essentially went ahead and was teaching, you know, the dance moves, the Corvette. Y'all may have seen it, the kids doing it, and especially in, you know, the supermarkets when they just randomly start dancing and stuff like that. But she went ahead and was teaching him the dances. You know, everybody thought it was fun. It was cool, all stuff like that. But people weren't here for it. They weren't here for it. They weren't.
No.
They weren't here for it at all.
She needs some seasonings. I wasn't feeling it. It was real dry. I don't know if because she's trying to slow it down to teach the choreography, but it was real.
It was cool.
Why wouldn't you credit the originators of these dances? There was a kids, Rainbow Coalition of kids that created all these dances. I think even one was a celebrity. Why wouldn't you invite these people on your show to do this? Why her? Because she's benefiting off of all that stuff. And she does not care because she said, I think the YouTube credited the people, or most of them. She don't care. As a fellow TikToker, wouldn't you care about the other people creators and how they make their money because that's how you make yours too? Or are you just going to benefit off the privilege of what you look like to get on the shows and do these things?
That's it. That's they one. That's they one. Rocky Marciana. That's they one. But what bothers me the most, because as a creative, you work hard on your stuff. And not to say that, these kids was, they was out in the paint or whatever. Because a lot of the kids, once they did the interview, they're like, it only took me 15 minutes to do the dance or whatever. But it's like, that's null and void. These kids came up with a dance. They were having fun. It caught on like wildfire. Why would you not be like, yo, this was the person who did it, I'm doing it. Or even, let me just take it. I blame the producers. I get so tired of these producers being in these positions to set up these hosts and then they look crazy. I would literally have a whole fit with my team. Don't have me on TV looking crazy. Why would you not reach out to these kids and have them on here? Because now I look like the bad person when it's my team who actually messed up. There was no reason for why it should have been, we're going to invite Addison J. No, we're not going to invite Addison J. We're going to go ahead and get these little kids who created these dances, bring them on here because they deserve to shine. This is their work, we all know how infuriating it is for somebody to copy and essentially either monetize or get the credibility from your work. So why would you do that to these kids, And it took social media. Once again, social media, it's the pros and cons, but it took social media for you to be like, man, we shouldn't have done that. When you should have known that from the beginning, especially producers. You knew better. Right. Do better.
Shout out to Ellen's producers because they made her look like the fairy godmother. But what they always did was they always made sure they gave credit where credit was due for anything. They always had the originators on there.
That part.
Even though they had to cover up some mess. They made sure it was good.
That part, and we do have footage of the kids that, essentially did it. Like these were the kids that did the Up challenge. Shout out to them. The guy that did the Corvette challenge, and the Laffy Taffy remix, and even the girl who did the Savage challenge. And these guys, the Blinding Lights, which their stuff was corny, but anyway, it's the fact of these people are so easily accessible. It's not like they're celebrities where you have to go through their people to call their people. If you are a team member of Jimmy Fallon's, you can get to these people so quick and be like, hey, we want to have you on the show. But what made me mad was once you decided to cover up, you're like, we're going to do a Zoom session for them. No. These kids deserve exactly what she got. She got flown out, got treated like a guest. So these kids should have too,
Exactly.
So don't try.
You want to hear Vision of Love? You're not going to ask Ariana Grande to come out and sing it. You're going to get Mariah. So if you can do it for them, you can do it for them too.
That part. Do not put these kids on a TV and be like, so what made you do? Because we know what you're doing. You're trying to make it right because you don't want to be looked at that person because we didn't forget the blackface scandal. We didn't forget that, Yeah. But when you want to make it right, make it right. Invite these kids out. Fly them out. I don't care if they're on our TV sets for more than 5 seconds. It means the world to them and they deserve it because it was their work that went viral. Right. Can you just do that? Can you do that? It. Period. A girl, I just, child. We had a lot to talk about, girl. We did. Just out here, just doing it. But guys, we are almost at the top of the hour. When I say I love y'all so much, you guys are awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are so dope. As I said before, make sure you click like, make sure you share. It costs absolutely nothing to do that. Support. Just like we were saying to support those little TikTokers, support us because we as fellow creatives are trying to do the same. So like, share, and we love y'all. We love y'all. We will. Girl. I got a game for you next week, girl.
Okay, DMX. I'm sorry, I had messed up your song that time. I'm gonna get it right next time. I just want to put it out there.
You sure did.
Okay.
Next week, we will see you guys next week. I am going to give Precious hell. It's going to be fun.
Lord. Y'all pray for me. Pray for me.
Make sure y'all tune in. We love you guys. Bye.